An enormous crowd gathered at the court. Everybody wished to see the famous Arsene Lupin. They had a gleeful anticipation that the prisoner would play some audacious pranks upon the judge. But seeing him enter the court, expectation was replaced with shock.
Prisoner at the bar, stand up. State your name.
Désiré Baudru.
A new alias, I see. We will adhere to Arsene Lupin, by which you are more generally known. Silence in this courtroom will be considered as non-compliance. Do you understand me?
I am not Arsene Lupin.
There are judges that would allow this kind of behavior. I am not one of them. If you are seeking to avoid responsibility for your crimes on the ground of imbecility, then you think me a fool. The charges brought against you. Count 1, theft. Count 2, trespassing without correct ticket or documentation. Count 3, impersonation of a ship's captain. Count 4, a second case of theft, a pocket watch. Count 5, causing physical harm. Honestly, this list could continue until next week. So, how do you plead?
Désiré Baudru.
It would be wise to consider your next move if you wish to see the light again.
It shows what condemning a man to a life of solitude can do.
3 months wasn't exactly a life of solitude, and you didn't do yourself any favors with the judge. I think you're going to need to explain yourself.
Oh. Ah. Oh. What do you have there, my friend? Leftover breadcrumbs? My favorite. Not right now. I'm reading The Count of Monte Cristo. It's quite exhilarating. I'm sure if you asked nicely, they would bring you a blanket of your own. It is, isn't it? How about Mr. Cheddar? Yes, that'll do nicely. You're right. They do look like villainous henchmen.
Excuse me?
Judge Bouvier, what a pleasure.
Oh, you're awfully upbeat for a man facing a life between these walls. In fact, that's the reason I'm here today. To make sure you are who you say you are. A name that would later be discovered as a recently deceased cousin. A shameful act of the highest degree. The way in which Mr. Rosaine was bullied and humiliated was criminal in itself. No man, deserving in your eyes or not, should be treated as such. ought to be a forgery. Something that would not interest you. But that was not the case, and the priceless piece of art was destroyed. I am satisfied you are Arsene Lupin.
I am who I thought I was. Fantastic news.
Is there anything you wish to add?
In the name of honesty, I thought perhaps you'd be interested in some other cases. I thought I would do the right thing. I began with detailing the robbery of the Crédit Lyonnais, the theft in the Rue Babylone, the counterfeit banknotes, the burglaries at the various chateaux, making it clear it was all my work.
Surely you were just opening yourself up to more charges.
You've forgotten what I told the inspector when I was first locked up and he came to see me.
I fear you haven't grasped the seriousness of what you are admitting to.
Quite the opposite. I am well aware, but it's wasted on me, as I have decided that I shall not be present at my trial.
Really? You decided that?
If you suppose I'm going to rot in this concrete hell, you insult me. Arsène Lupin remains in prison just as long as it pleases him, and not 1 minute more. I am sorry, I haven't a card with me. My words catching the sentinel off guard.
Huh?
He eyed me from head to foot in astonishment. Then, without a word, he rang a bell, and the iron gate was partly open. I beg of you not to worry about me. When I wish to escape, I shall not require any assistance. I jested as I passed him returning to my temporary home.
The judge made a point of saying I was to keep a close eye on him. And I get the feeling it's my head on the chopping block if he did escape.
Inspector, something you might want to see.
If I walk into that cell block and he's not standing in his cell...
No, he's there. He's just walked himself back through the main gate.
Lupin! Uh-huh.
Oh.
Oh. Get your head in. No one. This old dog's.
Inspector, you look fantastic. Have you lost?
Save it.
Why not? I'm warming to the place, and my friends are here.
If you think for a minute that we're friends,
Be careful, or your head might not fit through the cell door. I was referring to the guards, and of course, my long-dead friend.
it wouldn't surprise me if he's manipulated them. Neither of them is the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Have I ever lied to you?
You're serious?
As a heart attack, Inspector. Yes, I have deceived, duped, outsmarted.
Wait just a minute.
And I continue to be nothing but honest with you. As I told Judge Bouvier, I shall be far from this desolate, soulless cell before my trial begins. You have my word.
No, the rat is not. It's called common. Just some good old. Oh. Huh?
Inspector, prisoners are allowed to read, aren't they?
If they're reading books, not secret messages from their network of criminals.
They just kept arriving for him. He said they were a gift from his...
I don't care if they're from King Edward VII himself. No. Oh. Uh-huh. Carry on like this. You're supposed to be... How does he do? I'm hot on your head. That would be obvious. It's going to carry on like... How does he do? Who said I'm getting... Master thief? Not as clever as you think, huh?
That's it. This ends here.
I don't know if I've got it in me to hurt him.
Who said anything about... never mind.
I want him in a new cell. I want his belongings stripped. He needs to learn what life in La Santé is really like. But I have one last question for you.
Inspector, you look fantastic. Have you lost?
Save it.
What would ever give you that impression?
Disguising as a passenger with phony papers.
They got me on board, didn't they? And I'll have you know, they were some of my man's best work.
I knew he couldn't have done it all alone. He must have a network of people working for him.
What did ever happen to her missing jewels?
They aren't missing. You stole them.
Without any proof, we shall just have to agree to disagree. And that was it. No more luxuries, no more anything. Just me, the cell, and my thoughts.
What did he think moving you to another cell was going to achieve?
Allow me to finish. All will become clear.
It would be wise to consider your next move if you wish to see the light again.
It's always a game with him. I can't let him think he's got one over on me again.
I hope you've decided to be more forthcoming with your...
Perfect. The judge is already frustrated with Lupin. And after he hears about his actions on board that ship, he'll be kissing goodbye to his freedom.
While you decide if this game of yours is worth continuing, we shall hear from Inspector Ganimard.
Keep calm. There's no reason to lose your head now. Quick, say something smart.
If I had them, I'd spend them.
There's no way he could forget those bonds were fake.
I have only been in a hospital once, at my birth.
How?
I was nowhere near that night. The night of the fire, you mean?
Funny how he knows the exact night I'm referring to. I'm more confused now than I ever was. Surely there is more than enough to see that man locked up for the rest of his life.
You're aware of the lack of evidence provided. Thank you. I think we're all very clear on your feelings. Tell me about your relationship with the prisoner. And you were the arresting officer. You must be heavily invested in this trial.
I don't know what the judge is getting at. He committed a crime. He goes to jail.
And you feel he should face them today for all his crimes, whether part of this trial or not.
I want him punished for what he's done, as should the judge.
I understand this chase has been going on for some time, through many countries. So many miles you have crossed to apprehend him. A commendable act.
About time I got my dues.
It's something I've always wondered about. Why you?
I had the pleasure of meeting Inspector Ganimard at a young age, and he made his mind upon me, on the spot. Since then, he's made it his life's work to hunt me down.
To play devil's advocate, that is only one side of the story. You must have been up to something when you first met.
That may be so. And we'll save that for another day. But you can't deny it. I think without me, he'd have nothing.
Inspector, I'm beginning to question your involvement. Something makes me think you've invested a personal stake. Are you even sure of this man's identity?
I am. I was.
Inspector, take your seat. Lady Gerland,
If it finally means I can get my jewels back.
Your jewels? Are they not?
We'll get to that. I have some questions, and I'd like your honest answers.
I bet you weren't expecting to see her again.
If anything, I actually think Inspector Ganimard was more upset by the time she was finished.
I need to keep her away from mentioning the jewels. He's...
It was the most harrowing experience of my life. He terrorized that ship and made our voyage a living hell.
That's it. Paint a picture of a devilish criminal.
Bernard d'Andrézy. I knew we shouldn't have trusted him. I knew it.
Perfect. The judge will see Lupin had prepared it all.
That's him in the dock, isn't it? Lock him up and throw away the key. He steals from the Gerland family. He pays the price.
Perfect.
And, lastly, just so I understand, Lady Gerland's stolen jewels have been retrieved?
Isn't simple? No, they weren't. No thanks to him.
So, Lady Gerland is a liar?
Not a liar as such.
Not a liar at all. You useless excuse for an inspector.
At least, she said inspector.
Order! Order in the court!
Ganimard's ace in the hole hadn't worked, unless his plan was to be deafened and embarrassed in front of the entire courtroom.
He must have been seething, without any proof that you had the jewels.
He had nothing. Well, Not exactly nothing, but I wasn't going to make it easy for him to find.
Inspector, what's that?
What does it look like?
It looks like a secret passageway. Did you know it was there?
Do you really think I put Arsene Lupin, the most dangerous criminal in all of France, in a cell with a secret passageway? Huh?
It's been a couple of days now. He's not looking so good.
He's getting food and water, right?
We're bringing... nothing. I don't think he's got it in him anymore.
He's not a frail old man.
Take a look for yourself.
Huh? Oh. Uh-huh. Huh? Huh.
You wanted him to find it all, didn't you?
He had to understand that he had done everything I required of him from the moment he stepped on La Provence. Although, not everything in there was necessarily for his eyes.
You must have known he'd find the letters.
I suspected it, and I thought he would use them against me. But I think the next time he saw me, he realized that another escaped attempt was the last thing I was going to do.
We've heard from one of your victims and supposed evidence of your crimes. Do you have anything further to add?
Désiré Baudru.
Inspector, take your seat.
Please, Judge Bouvier, I can prove to you and the entire court this is Arsene Lupin.
On your own head be it. Proceed.
This is it. Time to shine. Please, just let me be right. You have said to me, to my face, that you have never lied to me. I hold a man at his word.
Inspector, the relevance?
I assure you, Judge, it's relevant. She said it herself. I believe her. Exact words were, "A trickster of the lowest form." No one likes having their misdeeds thrown in their face.
Maybe she wouldn't want to receive them if I've been so rude to her.
He's not fooling anyone. We both know the pain he caused that poor girl.
Inspector Ganimard, guilty or not, I will not have you battering the prisoner.
Nothing. Not even a grimace or a look.
You're treading on thin ice, Inspector.
Allow me this, and I can prove whether or not this is Arsene Lupin. It's not him. How could he? How have I lost him again? It's not him.
Excuse me?
It's not him.
For everyone to...
It's not him. It's not Arsene Lupin.
Order! Order!
The judge continued to question the man in the dock, Désiré Baudru, in case you hadn't caught his name. He informed the court of how he was grabbed by two officers while standing outside the police station as I was returning, a case of mistaken identity to the judge. When asked why he remained in La Santé, he replied,
I had a roof over my head and no worry for my next meal. I don't mind a rat or two.
The courtroom erupted with laughter, all except Inspector Ganimard. I'm sure you can imagine the look on his face.
I don't understand how he could have answered Ganimard's questions, though.
Mr. Baudru, having considered all that has gone on today, I hereby declare you a free man.
Could I ask a question?
You are not alone in having questions today, Mr. Baudru. What is it?
Will I still get my dinner?
You can't be.
After the manner in which you've been treated, one last meal is a minor request. And as for you, detective,
Judge?
I would think long and hard before bringing anything like that disastrous display into my courtroom again.
It's Inspector.
You did it! You really pulled it off.
I'm a man of my word.
I can't imagine Inspector Ganimard was prepared to accept it all, though.
Couldn't have said it better, my friend. In fact, he took it upon himself to stalk Monsieur Baudru through the streets, waiting for something to happen, I suppose.
And did it?
It did. But I don't think it was what the inspector was expecting.
Why me? Why is it always me? I'm the laughing stock of the station again. That old man knows something. I don't know what, but I'm going to find out. Here we are.
The policeman from the courtroom.
You know exactly who I am, and I want to know who you really are.
I'm sure I have no idea what you mean.
Not giving me a straight answer. You've certainly taken a leaf out of his book.
If you really want to know,
Look closer. It certainly has been some ride.
I almost caught you, didn't I?
You certainly gave it a good old-fashioned try. 1. You never actually had me. 2. Refresh my memory of what I lost while escaping La Santé without climbing a single wall.
Miss Underdown. If this is the last time we stand face to face, I want to see some honesty. Maybe even a glimmer of guilt for what you did.
I regret not showing her the real me from the start. I had hoped she might be present at the trial, and then, who knows?
Hope? You'll need plenty of that if you're going to convince her to be with you.
To live without hope is to cease to live.
Ever the wordsmith. I do.
I should like to know if you intend to reveal the true state of facts connected with your escape, the mistakes that I made. The words came as an almighty struggle to the inspector, admitting his part in it all. It is to my own interest to surround myself with mystery, and therefore have no fear, I shall say nothing. And now, goodbye. I am going out to dinner this evening. Where do you dine tonight? The inspector continued, still in a state of stunned bewilderment. With the British ambassador.
Your time battling Inspector Ganimard was over then.
I was free to breathe clean air, roam as I pleased, and Ganimard had egg all over his face. I had solidified myself as the victor.
What was next for you? I wondered if you might have sought out a particular person after being released.
Were you not listening? Inspector Ganimard and I had gone our separate ways. He hung up his badge soon after. My days of frivolous crimes were over.
That's not exactly who I was thinking of. I understand you saying that, but your actions say otherwise.
You mean the events at Château de Thibermesnil? I stand by my statement. It was a series of unexpected surprises that might make you think otherwise.
It is really remarkable, Velmont, what a close resemblance you bear to Arsene Lupin. If you were not the celebrated artist whose beautiful marine views I so admire, no doubt I'd have warned the police of your presence in Dieppe,
exclaimed the host to his surrounding guests. This sally was greeted with an outburst of laughter, but there was one who was not focused on the amusing side of his resemblance, but the opportunistic.
Tonight is a night of celebrations. Now I look around this room and I see close friends, old and new. Some who began as colleagues, some even competition.
Surprise, surprise. George is talking business.
And that'll be the last of it. Besides, they are now those I consider my most formidable allies.
Oh, that's enough of all that sentimental malarkey.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, mingle, eat, drink, enjoy.
While an invitation to tonight's party was the aim of the game, I wasn't expecting to be surrounded by so many former acquaintances. I'll have to be on my best behavior. When am I not?